So here's my lighter colour engineer LII 500 that I'm using to test them. So I've done a NOR test. Now these are a sample of the cells that I found down at 3.5 volts, whereas the rest are above 4 volts. So I'm going to individually charge all these back up, and I'm running some tests on them. So I ran a NOR test on one of them just to sort of see what happens. And as you can see, it's got up to 4.2 volts with a 48 internal resistance, which is pretty standard. So yeah, I'm under the assumption that it was simply the BMS detecting too great a differential between the parallel sets that was causing my issues. So if I individually charge all these back up to 4.2 volts, spot weld them all back together again in parallel and series, I'm pretty sure that they will behave as normal. So let's just run through them. So that one I had in a NOR test, as you can see, just to analyse it and see what happens. I'm just running across them. Now I'm pushing a charge through each one. This one I'm running a fast test on. As you can see, it's up to 3.98 and 700 milliamps presently. The batteries were capacity of between 1400 and 1500 milliamps. So I should be getting readings of up and around that. Obviously slightly lower because 3.5 volts isn't fully discharged. So I'm hoping this fast test will pick up and go up to nearer the 1400 mark, just to show that the cell's okay. Now these last two I'm just running a straight charge on, and as you can see I'm pushing 1 amp or 1000 milliamps through on the charging, and they're very nearly full, holding around sort of 1050 to nearly 1100 milliamps, which is pretty close to their capacity. And it's obviously them not being fully discharged, if they were fully discharged, that probably would equate to around 14 to 1500 milliamps. And the last one is up to 4 volts and nearly 1100 milliamps. So yeah, as I said, and this one's about the same. It was around 14 to 1500 milliamps total capacity rated from the original guys I bought them from, and they're pretty reliable. The guys I get these from generally tend to be fairly spot on with their capacities that they write on the cells. I've rarely ever had any bad ones. I think out of about over 800 cells that I bought off these guys, I've found maybe three faulty cells. So yeah, they're pretty reliable. So I'm going to carry on with this, and hopefully by the end of it I should be able to make some sense of this chaos, and hopefully get some results.